Right now on Morning News Now, race for the White House. President Biden and former President Trump gearing up for a 2020 rematch, with both parties funneling big bucks into their war chest. But so far, the Biden campaign has more than doubled Trump's fundraising efforts. We're digging into what's behind the disparity and what it means on the campaign trail. Also this morning, from Texas to Ohio, more than 20 million people are waking up under the threat of severe storms. The same system pounded the West Coast, turning roads into rivers and washing away parts of busy highways. We're tracking where that storm is heading now and what you can expect. Plus, the long process of removing the wreckage of the Francis Scott Key Bridge now underway. We're getting an up-close look at the massive undertaking as investigators work to figure out what went wrong. And a big pay bump is on the way for thousands of fast food workers in California, but opponents say there is a hidden price that could cost some workers their jobs. Good morning. Good to have you with us on this Monday. I'm Joe Fryer. Savannah is on assignment. We start this hour with the race for the White House, which has also become a race for cash. As April begins, both President Biden and former President Trump are kicking their fundraising efforts into high gear. The president is coming off a star-studded New York City extravaganza last week, raising an eye-popping $25 million. Now, Trump is vowing to top that number. But his fundraising efforts are already taking a hit because of his mounting legal fees. That includes the $175 million bond in his New York civil fraud case, which the former president is expected to pay this week. We have our team of experts ready to give us insight into the election. NBC News correspondent Vaughn Hilliard is here with me on set. We're also joined by our senior national politics reporter, Jonathan Allen. Vaughn, let's start with you. So Trump says he wants to hold a fundraiser of his own this upcoming weekend at this Mar-a-Lago estate, wants to raise $33 million. What do we know about this?
Right. John knows just how important this back and forth is here. And for Donald Trump, just 1 week after that New York City fundraiser, to come in with they're aiming for is $33 million is notable, primarily because they have a list of big billionaire-type figures, folks that were key to Donald Trump's campaigns in 2016 and 2020. Depending on what part of the country you're from, you may recognize some of these names. You've got Harold Hamm, you got Woody Johnson, Kelly Loeffler, the Mercer family. These are the type of figures that are going to be down there donating as much as more than $800,000. And these are funds that not only go to the campaign, some of the funds go to the Save America PAC, which is this organization that has helped Donald Trump with legal expenses, as well as the RNC to potentially help with some of those down ballot races. So for Donald Trump, a senior campaign official acknowledged just last week that they're not going to be able to match the Biden campaign dollar for dollar, saying they will be out fundraised the next 7 months. At the same time, they said they will fundraise at least enough money to be able to pull off a win in November.
So, John, this comes after President Biden brought in that record $25 million during his fundraiser last year in New York at Radio City Music Hall. New campaign filings also showed the president has more than double the amount of available cash in his campaign account compared with Trump. Walk us through why fundraising is so important here at this point in the campaign, 7 months before the election. I mean, what do these numbers tell us?
Well, Joe, I mean, the first thing is it takes a lot of money over a long period of time in order to run a campaign. You reserve ad time early. You build up your presence in the various states. Obviously, these two candidates are going to spend most of their time, most of their money in the handful of swing states that end up determining close elections. And basically, from a historical perspective, our elections dating back to at least 2000 have been pretty close. So the money allows you to do all the things that you need to do to campaign. The Trump campaign acknowledges, when you talk to them behind the scenes, they acknowledge that they're not going to raise as much money as Joe Biden in this election cycle. They didn't raise as much money as him last time, but they believe that they'll have enough to compete. We'll have to see. This fundraiser, as Vaughn said, a lot of big, bold, marquee names going out to help Trump. I think particularly notable is that several of them were people who were against him or had moved away from him in the past, now coming back into the fold.
Vaughn, let's talk about legal costs. Trump says that $175 million bond from the civil case, he will pay it in time. He had 3 more days left, basically, to pay it, 10 days from last Monday. But how much are these legal costs, the legal fees, the penalties, impacting his campaign?
It's absolutely impacting the campaign because they're seeking financial support, not only for those legal bills. Already more than $80 million have been moved from that super PAC, or I should say that leadership PAC, this organization that could have gone to support his political efforts, but those have been moved in order to cover legal expenses over the last 2 years. That's more than $80 million already. But some of the donations, if you're out there in the country and you're donating to Donald Trump a couple $1,000s, the first a couple thousand will go to the campaign. Then the next couple thousand will go towards that organization that have been covering legal expenses, but also even those big donors as well. Donald Trump has been seeking cash to help cover that $175 million bond. He already had that $93 million bond that he had to cover for the E. Jean Carroll defamation judgment. And so for Donald Trump, this is all coming to a head 7 months out from the general election. This is tough financial times for him, and especially the fact that he still has 4 criminal trials pending, including the first one on April 15th. This is all in real time.
Just 2 weeks away from that one. Of course, all this money matters because of advertising, John. And the Biden campaign released a digital ad that's aimed directly at Nikki Haley's supporters. Now, that advertising is going to run for 3 weeks in several battleground states. What's the strategy here? Are these voters considered up for grabs? I know there's a theory some of these Nikki Haley voters did vote for Biden nearly 4 years ago.
There's no doubt. It's not just a theory, Joe. Having talked to voters in a bunch of the early primary states, there were definitely a lot of Democrats who voted for Nikki Haley. There were also some Republicans who voted for Nikki Haley who voted for Joe Biden last time around. And there are some Republicans who voted for Nikki Haley who voted for Donald Trump last time. These voters, this set of voters includes people who you would consider swing voters or persuadable voters. I think that's what Joe Biden is going after. There is no doubt that there is some universe of people that are available for him to pick off who supported Nikki Haley, and obviously somewhat available because they don't like Donald Trump. They certainly didn't like him as their first choice in the Republican primary. So that's one big target of voters. Obviously, Democrats are going to spend a lot of money and energy trying to find people who already agree with them, who don't usually vote, and trying to get them out, trying to make sure that they get the kind of turnout that they got last time. But these Haley voters are part of that universe of people who are available.
All right, Von Hilliard, Jonathan Allen kicking us off this hour. Thank you both. This morning, 25 million Americans are in the path of a powerful weather system making its way across the country, from devastating flooding in California to extreme heat in Texas and the threat of strong storms on the East Coast. NBC News correspondent Jesse Kirsch has more.
Oh my God, this is the 101.
In Southern California, nearly 2 inches of rain falling in just 1 hour.
Oh my God, this is so bad.
Twyla Douglas filming this video alongside her husband Scott on Highway 101 in Santa Barbara County. Severe flooding temporarily shutting down the highway in both directions.
It was surreal. I had never been in water like that, and I was really worried.
Oh God, look at this poor car.
Some drivers left stranded. Officials say 8 people were rescued, and 1 driver was treated for hypothermia. The heavy rains also washing out part of Highway 1, a nearby lodge opening its doors for stranded visitors. Charmaine Schwa was escorted out of the area.
It's a total roller coaster because we went from in one moment thinking that we'd have to start rationing our energy bars to being told we could leave.
Dangerous wet roads in Orange County causing this car to spin out and crash into a ditch, according to local reports.
The possibility that you could start to see some flooding here.
Millions under flood alerts across California.
Whoa, that was a bright one.
Take a look at this video appearing to show a plane getting struck by lightning near San Jose. And further north, this is debris from a plane crash that left 2 people dead, according to airport officials. The cause has not been determined, though it was snowing in the area. The NTSB is investigating. More than 2 feet of snow fell this weekend in parts of the Sierra Nevadas. The storm is racing across the Rockies as the eastern half of the country braces for storms. Here in the Ohio Valley, we could be seeing up to 4 inches of rain by Tuesday. That means the risk of flooding. Meanwhile, across the southeast, there's the potential for record heat through Tuesday, and parts of South Texas could be seeing triple digits.
All right, Jesse Kirsch, thanks so much. Let's take a look at what's ahead, including severe storms from Texas to Ohio, bringing high winds and a risk for flash flooding. Meteorologist Violetta Yaz joins us with the forecast. Violetta, good morning.
Good morning, Joe. Yeah, it is a busy start to the month of April. We have our severe weather expected later this afternoon and evening here from parts of Texas all the way up in through the Ohio Valley, and all severe weather risks on the table right now. Damaging winds, of course, also seeing the potential for large hail and even a few strong tornadoes. The tornadoes possible here from northern Texas right into the Indianapolis area, and even seeing the potential for some nocturnal tornadoes. That, of course, even more dangerous as a lot of folks are sleeping and maybe don't have the modes to receive a lot of those severe weather alerts. So potentially very strong tornadoes expected here in the nation's midsection. By Tuesday, we see that severe weather threat start to shift to the east, with 21 million people at risk here once again for damaging winds, hail, and yet again, the potential for some tornadoes. By tomorrow, we're talking from northern Alabama all the way up into Lexington, Kentucky. So a very stormy start to the week for the middle of the country. So here we have that focus today. You can see that storm ejecting out of the plains into the Midwest from Oklahoma to Illinois. And on top of those dangerous thunderstorms, we're also seeing the potential for heavy rain that could trigger some flooding. For tomorrow, that severe weather threat shifts east, and we're also seeing the potential for flooding there. You can see some of those stronger thunderstorms developing along this cold front. And then by Wednesday, take a look at this. We have another storm that develops sort of offshore here. This helps to wrap in some cold air into the backside of this storm. So that may develop some snow on the backside of this. Pretty incredible across interior sections of the Northeast. That would be for Wednesday, but at least for today into tomorrow, that main risk is going to be the severe weather, damaging winds, hail, the potential for some tornadoes. And then you can see by Tuesday, the flood threat already it's shaping up here. We have that flood watch in effect with potentially 8 million people impacted there. In terms of rainfall totals, you can see that yellow swath from parts of Missouri all the way east into parts of New England. 1 to 2 inches possible there, locally up to 3 inches. So that is the focus for the severe weather for today. To the south of that, we're expecting very warm temperatures in the southeast, even some triple digits in parts of southwestern Texas. So a whole lot going on here as we transition into spring. Of course, we look forward to the warmer temperatures, but that also kicks off severe weather season for us. So typically a very active time.
And maybe some April snow. My goodness.
Winter saying not so fast.
All right, Violetta, thank you so much. Demolition crews remain hard at work today, removing all that wreckage in Baltimore after the Francis Scott Key Bridge collapsed. It's been nearly a week since a cargo ship crashed into the bridge's pillar, taking down the span. Removing all the wreckage is likely going to take months. And as NBC News senior correspondent Tom Costello reports, investigators are working hard to find out what caused that cargo ship to lose control.
It was pitch black as the Dolly left port on Tuesday, headed out to sea, traveling at 8 knots, a little more than 9 miles per hour. A mere 4 minutes elapsed from the first signs of trouble to the moment the ship crashed into the bridge. At 1:24 a.m., the lights suddenly went out on the ship's deck. They came back 1 minute later as dark smoke started billowing from the stack. At 1:26 a.m., the Dolly appeared to turn, but at the same moment, the lights went out again. The ship's pilot made an urgent distress call for any nearby tugboats to assist. 2 minutes later, 1:28 a.m., the ship collided with the bridge, the superstructure quickly crumbling into the river below. Police dispatch audio shows officers radioed to stop traffic less than 30 seconds after the distress call.
Hold on traffic on the Key Bridge. There's a ship approaching. It just lost their steering.
Dashcam video shows the workers on the bridge before the tragedy struck.
Dispatch, the whole bridge just fell down.
Engineering experts calculate the Dolly hit the bridge with roughly 30 million pounds of applied force.
What we do know is a bridge like this one, completed in the 1970s, was simply not made to withstand a direct impact on a critical support pier from a vessel that weighs about 200 million pounds.
While the Key Bridge was built to 1970s standards, those standards changed after a freighter hit the Sunshine Skyway Bridge over Tampa Bay in 1980 during an intense storm. 35 people died. Today, bridge support structures must be protected with barriers, like reinforced islands on the new Skyway Bridge.
I believe that if the bridge had been designed to the revised specifications that took into account the ship collision conditions for that bridge, it would not have collapsed.
The main span of the bridge is more than 1.5 miles long, named after Francis Scott Key, who wrote the national anthem. About 31,000 vehicles use the bridge every day, adding up to more than 11 million per year. The focus now is shifting to reopening the vital Port of Baltimore, the 9th biggest in the U.S. and the biggest in the nation for car imports and exports, handling more than 750,000 last year alone. The port employs more than 15,000 people a year, generating more than $3 billion in annual revenue. We traveled with the Army Corps of Engineers out on the water to get closer to the debris field that they need to start clearing out. You see that piece of steel that is right there crushing the front, the bow of the ship. That alone weighs 3,000 to 4,000 tons. They've got to cut that into pieces to remove it, and that's just for one stretch of the bridge.
This work is very unforgiving, and the planning has to be done in extreme detail, and that's the work that's going on today.
Potentially very dangerous.
Incredibly dangerous.
Experts warn the snarl of commercial traffic on the roads and in the water could make shipping even more expensive in the coming months, driving up inflation.
This is not just about Maryland. This is about our nation's economy.
For the families of the 6 construction workers lost, the heartache will linger forever. Among those lost, Miguel Luna from El Salvador, who had just celebrated a gender reveal party for his unborn grandchild. A tragedy that will echo for generations.
That was Tom Costello reporting. It remains unclear when construction of a new bridge could begin and how long the project will take to finish. For more on the bridge cleanup, we're joined by Sal Mercogliano. He is a maritime historian and former merchant mariner. Sal, thanks for joining us this morning. We appreciate your time. As we've mentioned, this process to remove the wreckage and the surrounding debris is probably going to take months. Walk us through some of the meticulous planning that had to take place before these engineers could even begin working.
Well, I mean, one of the first things they have to do is survey, is really get an assessment of what's going on, including the vessel itself. They have to stabilize it, make sure the ship doesn't move, make sure it's not going to become more of an issue. And then they have to start the analysis where they do side scan sonar, they measurements. They have to figure out where every piece of this bridge is. And then what they're going to start to do is kind of this very systematic removal of the vessel. I mean, imagine a Jenga set that's glued together, and now you have to remove piece by piece, starting at the top, but you got to saw it off. That's basically what they're starting to do in this process.
For these salvage teams, what are some of the biggest challenges you expect them to encounter? I mean, just how big is this undertaking?
Well, big is the issue right there. I mean, we really don't get quite the scale of how large and massive this is. As they're doing the cutting, as you're seeing right there, they have to have those pieces stabilized. You can't have anything swing or move. So it is a meticulous effort they have to go through. And every time they make cuts and remove it, you may have the structure shift, reassess, and re-look at it every time. And obviously their priority is to remove the dolly and get that major shipping channel open. That bridge that collapsed between the 2 major spans is probably still connected, even though it looks like it's in pieces. They're going to have to look at how they take it apart to get ships back into the Port of Baltimore.
You talk about that goal to try and get the smaller auxiliary ship channel open so at least some ships can start to come through. How quickly, realistically, do you think that can happen? And what are some of the other priorities you think that need to get done in the coming weeks and months?
Well, I think one of the key things is a lot of equipment has already been there. Since it was locally based in the U.S., they have moved in a large amount of cranes. We've seen a lot of personnel come into this area. The element here is, of course, how quick and what their target is. You're coordinating 3 different salvage operations at the same time. You've got the ship, you've got the main shipping channel, and then you have the rest of the bridge. And so when they come up with a plan, then they can target and really put a lot of their assets to clearing out a portion of it. Estimates I'm hearing is anywhere from 1 month to 3 months to be able to get the main channel open, but they may be able to do it a little bit sooner if they can get a backup channel going to get some of the smaller vessels, tugs and barges, at least getting some traffic into the Port of Baltimore.
Can they use any parts of the bridge on the end that are still there, or are those going to have to go down too?
Oh, I think you're going to see the eventual destruction of the entire bridge just because of the demolition involved. The shock damage and the nature of this bridge is going to require a complete change. But right now, again, the focus has got to be on getting the dolly out, stabilizing it. Remember, the dolly is the bow is down. It's probably sitting on bottom. There was an issue with being on top of a gas pipeline. So a lot of stabilization has got to go on to get the dolly out. And then don't forget, we've had part of a container collapse up on the bow and major damage to the forward section.
All right, Sal Mercogliano, thank you for your time and your expertise this morning. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Before the U.S. House left Washington for a 2-week-long Easter recess, members failed to pass a bill that would send additional military aid to Ukraine. Now, we heard from one House Republican who addressed the issue Sunday on Meet the Press, discussing the hurdles facing any Ukraine aid package. Here's moderator Kristen Welker.
Hello there, Joe. This week on Meet the Press, I spoke with Nebraska Congressman Don Bacon. Here's what he had to say about the prospect of more Ukraine aid passing in the House.
If we do this bill, and I think we will, there's enough support in the House to get this done. And I want to make sure that we have support in the Senate. I don't want to just do a ping pong where we send it back over to the Senate and they don't act. So this has got to be a bicameral, bipartisan solution. But we want to force the president's hand.
But the Senate did send over a bill months ago, Congressman. The Senate did send over a bill months ago, and it got stalled in the House.
Well, it didn't have a lot of bicameral support, at least on the Republican side. Why is that? You have about almost $30 billion in humanitarian aid, and there's not a lot of support for that amount of humanitarian aid going to Ukraine. We think the EU could do a lot more than humanitarian than they are. They just did a $50 billion humanitarian aid, and Germany's committed more. We think our role should be more military aid because that's what we're good at. And so I think I'm optimistic we're going to get this done in 2 weeks. I just want to ensure it's bicameral because I don't want to just send a bill over to the Senate and it doesn't go anywhere. So that's been my main concern. But I have a commitment for the Speaker and the Chairman of the Foreign Affairs Committee that we're going to put this on the floor and get a vote.
You can see my full interviews and a lot more at MeetThePress.com. You can also get more Meet the Press here on NBC News Now every weekday at 4 p.m.
All right, Kristen, thank you so much. In Gaza, Israeli officials confirm their forces have withdrawn from Al-Shifa hospital after a 2-week operation. The World Health Organization says 21 patients have died since Israel invaded the hospital. Well, back in Israel, mass protests by thousands opposed to Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's handling of the war. It reached a critical point. NBC News international correspondent Raf Sanchez is in Tel Aviv with the latest.
Hey there, a new round of ceasefire negotiations is now underway in Cairo, but here in Israel, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu facing the biggest protests he's seen since the start of the war, and in Gaza, Israeli commandos have just pulled out of the largest hospital in the Strip.
Overnight, Israeli troops withdrawing from Al-Shifa hospital after a 2-week raid, leaving devastation in their wake. Israel says it killed more than 100 militants hiding in and around the hospital and captured senior Hamas operatives. Hamas denies using the hospital as a base. This footage shows the severe damage left by the fighting, and the World Health Organization says at least 21 patients died during the siege. It comes as Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is under intense pressure at home. This morning, he's recovering from what doctors say was a successful hernia operation. But outside, his political troubles mounting. Anger at massive weekend protests in Jerusalem and Tel Aviv, calling for early elections and a ceasefire deal to free the hostages. Hours before surgery, Netanyahu defiant, saying elections would paralyze Israel and insisting he will attack Rafah despite opposition from the White House. The U.S. and Israel expected to hold a virtual meeting today to discuss President Biden's alternatives to an invasion, an Israeli official says. In his Easter message, Pope Francis calling for an immediate ceasefire and the release of the hostages. Peace is never made with weapons, but with outstretched hands and open hearts, he said. Only around 1,000 Palestinian Christians were left in Gaza before the war. Now, fears, death, and displacement will be the end of this ancient community. But in the light of Easter morning, the faithful together again. Sister Mila Saleh saying, "I pray for peace," a prayer shared across Gaza and around the world.
Now, that virtual meeting happening between the White House and the Israeli government today was supposed to happen in person in Washington last week, but was canceled by Prime Minister Netanyahu in an unusually public display of anger with the United States. The fact that it's being rescheduled may be a sign Netanyahu now trying to lower tensions. Back to you.
All right, Raf Sanchez, thank you. We have a lot more to get to today on Morning News Now, including multiple arrests in those attacks in New York where women were randomly punched in the face. What we've learned about the suspects and why at least one of them was already released. But first, King Charles makes his first major public appearance since being diagnosed with cancer. We've got that story next. Welcome back. Millions of Christians around the world celebrated Easter over the weekend. It was a day of prayer and celebration led by Pope Francis, who didn't let his health issues stop him from making a plea for peace. NBC News correspondent Marissa Parra has more.
For a Christian holiday filled with hope, the face of the Catholic Church delivered exactly that on Easter Sunday. At times in need of a wheelchair, sounding hoarse, the Pope's appearance otherwise reassuring, days after sparking health worries when he canceled his Good Friday's procession at the last minute. The royal family, no stranger to health concerns. Outside a Windsor Easter service, the Princess of Wales not joining father-in-law King Charles for a public appearance. His first major engagement since they both disclosed their cancer diagnoses earlier this year.
He's looking well. He's looking well.
From Australia to Iraq to the Philippines. Signs of the Christian Holy Week written across continents and observed even among those enduring unspeakable hardships. Solemn services seen in Ukraine and in Gaza City, highlighted by the Pope in his sermon, who once again called for a ceasefire. Protesters in New York's St. Patrick's Cathedral demanding the same. But blocks away and hours later, those tensions had eased in time for the New York Easter Bonnet Parade. The streets, a sea of pastel, flowers, and feathers galore. A day to celebrate hope, whatever that looks like, in difficult times. Marissa Parra, NBC News.
On this holiday weekend, the royal family's health was on the minds of many. As Marissa just mentioned, the king made his first major appearance since being diagnosed with cancer. There's no sign of Prince William. He's not expected to resume public duties until mid-April as his wife, Kate Middleton, continues that preventative chemotherapy for her cancer. For more on the royal family on Easter Sunday and beyond, we're joined now by NBC royal commentator Daisy McAndrew. Daisy, good to have you with us. I mean, first of all, just walk us through the royal family's Easter Sunday celebration at Windsor Castle and seeing King Charles make that big appearance.
And it certainly was a big appearance. This was the first major public appearance the King has made since he started undergoing treatment for his cancer. This was the traditional Easter Sunday service at St. George's Chapel at Windsor Castle. We were only told a few days ago that he was going to appear. Of course, we knew that other senior royals would be there. Camilla, both the three siblings of King Charles, so Anne, Edward and Andrew, were all there. But I think the crowd really was delighted to see not just the King going in for the service, but then coming out, as you can see in your pictures now, and doing a mini royal walkabout. He shook 56 hands, we're told, by those who bothered to count. And I think the crowd, it was a small crowd, controlled crowd. I think they were really thrilled. He made some jokes about following his orders from his wife, Queen Camilla. And when the crowd was saying, you know, do get well soon, he said, I'm doing my best. But I think overall, this was meant to be a message of saying to the British public, he's okay, reassurance, really.
I love how there's someone counting 56 handshakes. That's,
yeah.
I mean, I guess it's
British.
Exactly. As we mentioned, Prince William, Kate Middleton, their three kids were absent from the celebration on Sunday. Totally understandable as Kate is being treated for cancer. Do we know anything about how they spent their Easter Sunday and just what's the latest on the family?
We know that they are in their country house, which is called Anmer Hall in Norfolk, so near the Sandringham estate. That is certainly a favourite place of theirs. We understand it would have been just the four of them, but there were no public sightings. Kate and William, as young parents when the kids were much smaller, lived there full time. They have a lot of local friends around there, so we can assume that they would have caught up with some of those local friends. They're a very tight-knit group. They're friends and their old school friends and so on. So I would imagine they would have been with them. And certainly it was the four of them. And we were told not to expect to see Kate and William, that they were planning on having a proper family holiday. And as you mentioned in the introduction, the school holidays here for those three children, Louis, Charlotte and George, finish on April the 17th. That's when we expect William to get back to his public duties.
All right. Daisy McAndrew, thanks for joining us this morning. We appreciate your time. Still ahead this morning, convicted murderer Alec Murdaugh set to return to the courtroom again today, this time to be sentenced for federal financial crimes. Why prosecutors are now asking a judge to throw out his plea deal. That's next. Welcome back. Police in Indiana are investigating a shooting over the weekend that left several minors injured. On Saturday night, 7 people were shot outside a mall in downtown Indianapolis. They range in age from 12 to 17 years old. Police say one victim is still in critical condition and no arrests have been made. It is the third weekend in a row with at least 6 people injured in a shooting in Indianapolis. Convicted murderer Alec Murdaugh is set to be sentenced later today in federal court in South Carolina for stealing from his clients and his law firm. Murdaugh pleaded guilty last year to 22 charges, including various fraud counts and money laundering. He's already received a 27-year sentence in state court for similar charges. He's also currently serving 2 consecutive life sentences for the 2021 murders of his wife Maggie and son Paul. Now, Murdaugh's sentencing today was supposed to be pretty cut and dry. Federal prosecutors promised to recommend a lighter sentence if Murdaugh was truthful and cooperative with them. Well, now they're asking the judge to let them out of that plea deal because they say Murdaugh failed a polygraph test he took so prosecutors could help determine if he was telling them the truth. NBC News legal analyst Danny Ceballos joins us now. So what more do we know about this new information that has federal prosecutors saying, nope, we don't want this plea deal? I guess I often think, oh, wait, polygraph tests, those aren't supposed to be a thing in court, are they?
Yeah, plea agreements are contracts. And if the government wants to get out of it, the court has to let them out of the contract. They can't just withdraw. And that's why you have this motion here. And while it's a little unusual, sometimes the government, in rare instances, will have a defendant submit to a polygraph. But you're absolutely right, and that's exactly what the defense is arguing, is that these polygraphs are not reliable. And they cite instances in which this examiner maybe didn't even follow the regular polygraph rules. So in other words, polygraphs are not reliable to begin with. This polygraph examiner may have done things that made it even less reliable. But you have to step back, and I guess maybe this is the defense attorney in me. Let's think about Alec Murdaugh. Alec Murdaugh essentially took the stand in his own defense in his murder trial and said, I didn't kill my wife and child, but I'm a huge fraudster. I'm a huge liar. So it begs the question, why would the government make Alec Murdaugh's truthfulness part of their plea agreement? What were their expectations when they started asking him about assets? The man had a 20-year opiate addiction. If you're wondering where the money went that he stole, I have a couple good guesses. They went into his drug habit. But for whatever reason, the government maybe thought they could claw back some of this money, and they had him submit to 3 interviews and then a polygraph test, which he failed. Now, Murdaugh is saying, hey, I failed it for other reasons. I didn't lie. And the government's saying, no, you lied. You breached the agreement. Now we get to back out of that agreement, and the judge can let us out.
So what will the judge have to consider when trying to figure out this sentence and whether to let them out of the plea agreement?
The standard is a preponderance of the evidence, so it's not a very high standard, 51%. But the defense is arguing, hey, look, you filed this motion at the last minute. We should be at least entitled to an evidentiary hearing. We can't just rely on you saying that he failed the polygraph. Let us look at the polygraph documents, the materials he used. Polygraph examiners write all over these pieces of paper as the little chart thing is measuring your 3 different things, and I won't get into that. But the thing that a polygraph measures comes out as data that is interpreted by a polygraph examiner. And so the defense is saying, hey, we should get to look at that and have an actual hearing on this issue before you let the government out of their deal.
So it's possible we might not see a sentence today if the judge decides to go with that. I mean, if he lets them out of this plea deal, how much jail time could we be talking about for Murdaugh here?
Well, one of the biggest differences is the difference between consecutive and concurrent sentences, which can make a massive difference. In a concurrent sentence, you're serving all of your sentences at the same time. When they're consecutive, they're lined up end to end. You're only serving one at a time, and you start serving the next one after you finish the first one. You can imagine, just using simple math, 3 sentences of, say, 20 years each. That's 60 years if they're consecutive. It's only 20 if they're concurrent and served all at the same time. So for a defense attorney, the difference between consecutive and concurrent is often a bigger deal than the actual number of years on the sentence.
Of course, one thing we know, Alec Murdaugh is never getting out of prison, is he?
In all likelihood, no, especially on these pleas, because those are not likely to be appealed. But, he might have a shot on the murder conviction. It's not likely. If you're playing the odds, the man will be in prison, federal or state, forever.
All right. Danny Ceballos, thanks for breaking it down. Appreciate it. In New York, police have made multiple arrests connected to those highly publicized punching incidents. It's a disturbing trend, with some women randomly punched while walking down the street in broad daylight. And some of those victims, they're posting those warnings on social media. NBC News correspondent Priscilla Thompson has the latest.
So I just got punched in the face walking home.
The man accused of that harrowing attack charged with misdemeanor assault after allegedly punching 27-year-old Michaela Tonato in the face. That arrest comes a day after 40-year-old Skaboki Stora was charged for this reported assault on 23-year-old Hallie McGuckin.
I was literally just walking, and a man came up and punched me in the face. Oh my God, it hurts so bad.
Stora, a fringe political candidate who once ran for mayor, has an extensive criminal record, police say. A third man was charged, accused of punching a 57-year-old woman in the face. The arrests come as dozens of women have taken to social media, sharing stories of allegedly being randomly sucker punched across New York City.
I was punched in the head in New York City.
He goes, sorry, and then punches me in the head.
He spit all over me and then punched me in the side of the face.
The trend placing many women on high alert.
It makes me feel like a little bit paranoid. It's definitely been scary.
Overall crime in the city is down, but data shows misdemeanor assault is up more than 10% compared to this time last year. 2 of the men arrested have not yet pled to the charges, and at least 1 has been released.
I feel pretty safe, but again, that's not an excuse to kind of let my guard down.
Priscilla Thompson, NBC News.
Coming up, fast food workers in California are getting a big boost to their paychecks starting today. Not everyone is on board. Why some say there is a hidden price to this pay raise. That's next. We're back now with financial headlines, starting with AT&T reporting a major data breach over the weekend. CNBC's Silvana Henao joins us with that and other money news. Silvana, good morning.
Hey, Joe, good morning to you. Yes, so AT&T has discovered a major data breach. The company says sensitive information from about 7.6 million current customers and more than 65 million former account holders were posted on the dark web, including some social security numbers and passcodes. The company has started contacting those current and former customers and has reset the passcodes for the current subscribers. Meanwhile, gold continues to glitter brightly, the precious metal hitting a fresh all-time high today, above $2,200 an ounce. That's a slowing inflation is boosting expectations. The Federal Reserve could start cutting interest rates as soon as this June. Lower rates reduce the opportunity cost of holding gold. Prices are also at record highs in currencies other than the dollar, including euros, British pounds, and Chinese yuan. And it was a monster debut for Godzilla x Kong at the box office this holiday weekend. The monster adventure from Legendary Pictures and Warner Brothers taking in $80 million domestically, according to ComScore. That topped expectations of about $50 million. It's also the second biggest movie opening this year, trading trailing only Dune Part 2, which was also produced by legendary Joe.
Yeah, that's a Godzilla-sized number there. My goodness. All right.
Absolutely.
Savannah, thanks so much.
You got it.
Starting today, hundreds of thousands of California fast food workers will earn more money. A new state law is now in effect. It raises the minimum wage for those workers to $20 an hour, up from $16. As NBC News correspondent Maura Barrett explains, it may be a positive for workers, but it's also a negative for many business owners.
The $4 an hour pay raise could boost paychecks for an estimated 500,000 fast food workers in California. But in the lead up to the new $20 minimum wage policy taking effect April 1st, business owners like Amir Samadi in San Jose project a pinch.
As an owner or as an employer, you have to have coverage to pay them. If you cannot, you have to shut your door.
During the pressure of the pandemic, Samadi says he didn't lay off any workers or cut hours. With the new increase, though, he's not sure he can afford that same protection. A collective of franchisees for Pizza Hut and Round Table Pizza already indicated plans to lay off at least 1,200 delivery drivers this year, according to the Wall Street Journal. Round Table Pizza tells NBC News the franchisee is transferring their delivery services to third party, calling it unfortunate, but we look at this as a transfer of jobs. Pizza Hut has not returned our request for comment and has not said publicly the change is connected to the new law. Others said they've paused hiring or cut back on workers' hours. Governor Gavin Newsom signed the FAST Act into law last fall.
This is a big deal. $20 an hour.
Requiring the pay bump at any fast food chain with 60 or more locations nationwide, like Pizza Hut or Panera Bread. That's a 25% increase from the state's broader $16 minimum wage, which had grown over the last 8 years. It's a result in part from a decade of fight for $15 protests. The movement now ballooning to a fight for $20 motto in response to inflation and higher costs of living. But this law is just for one industry, those who work in fast food.
What is the point of having a separate minimum wage for fast food workers versus just across the board?
It's very, very unusual to have a separate minimum wage for a particular sector. I still think there's this common misconception that, oh, well, that business owner makes a lot of money, they can afford it. That might be true, right? But that doesn't mean they won't change their behavior. When the minimum wage goes up, some low-skilled workers lose their jobs.
And while it threatens those jobs, consumers could be eating the new cost too. McDonald's, Chipotle, and Jack in the Box have already said they'd raise menu prices in response to the law, creating several losers in a play that was sold as one that would win.
When it comes to the actual impact of a minimum wage adjustment, economists actually call it political theater, effectively, because when you change the minimum wage, you don't have to change taxes, and then you don't see any changes in the budget deficit. So it looks really good for someone like Gavin Newsom, but there isn't really any impact for the workers other than the fact that they could potentially lose their jobs, like we laid out in the piece. Now, the need for wage adjustment, though, is very real, especially in this industry. In the fast food industry, more workers live in poverty than any other industry, but economists say that something like a tax credit could be more effective. Back to you.
All right, Maura, thank you so much. Let's talk more about this with Investopedia editor-in-chief Caleb Silver. Caleb, good morning. So supporters of the new minimum wage see this as a step in the right direction when it comes to fair compensation. Here's what's interesting. This new law also creates something called a fast food council. It actually has the ability to increase the wage again over the next several years. That's based on inflation. What should we know about that?
Yeah, the Fast Food Council was established by Governor Gavin Newsom when he did pass AB 1228. This does raise the minimum wage to $20 an hour. There are some former fast food executives on that council. There are some members of the SEIU, the union behind this, that's the Service Employees International Union. They're the ones that have been pushing for this, and they want to tie these increases to a better standard of living, but also to what we call CPI, the Consumer Price Index for workers in that industry, which the Federal Reserve and the Bureau of Labor Statistics tracks. They see how much workers in these industries are paying for daily goods month to month, and they want to adjust these raises to meet that CPI inflation.
Caleb, let's talk about some of the concerns of business owners that Maura mentioned in her piece. I mean, realistically, what could be some of the long-term impacts we see here?
Yeah, higher prices. And don't forget, a lot of these fast food restaurants are actually owned on a local level by franchisees. They may own 2, 3, 10, 20 of these restaurants. So if you're a big fast food chain, and you own 60 or more of your restaurants, your small business owners that own the franchises have to eat these costs, which means they're going to have to raise prices, or they're going to have to reduce hours for workers, or they're going to have to change their businesses like a Pizza Hut is doing with outsourcing drivers, or you go into a fast food restaurant and you put your order in on the kiosk. You don't even talk to somebody behind the counter. That's what a lot of these companies are doing. And that's the trend that we're probably going to see over the next few years.
We're certainly seeing a lot of that in New York here already. So just how closely are other states watching what's happening in California? I mean, if they see any signs of success in California, could we see this happen in other states?
Potentially. We did see a bunch of states raise their minimum wage this year to $15 an hour, like Delaware, Florida, Illinois, and Maryland. So there's already been a push to increase the minimum wage. But don't forget, Joe, the minimum wage on a federal level is still like $7.50. It's almost a crime when you think about that. So individual states have to push their own minimum wage increases themselves. They need support from the union, and they need support from big business to do this. That's the only way this works.
All right. Caleb Silver, appreciate your time this morning. Thanks for joining us. Coming up, the return of the romance novel, how literary passion is making a comeback, and the familiar name making headlines in the middle of it all. That's next. All right, welcome back this morning. You've got to trade in that Easter bonnet for a cowboy hat. That's because we're celebrating Queen Bee's country takeover, which continues. Cowboy Carter, which was just released on Friday, already shattering records. Spotify says Beyonce's critically acclaimed new album racked up more streams in a single day than any other record so far this year. It's the first country album to pull that off in 2024. Amazon Music similarly shared that the album now holds the title for the most first-day streams for a country album by a female artist on its platform. Might be a little biased here, but I'm sure much of the success is thanks to Dolly Parton's feature on the fittingly titled Dolly P, which is, of course, Dolly talking and then setting up Beyonce's amazing rendition of Jolene. Let's end this hour with a little something to spice up your love life this morning. Yeah, that's right. The romance genre is making a major comeback on the page and on the screen. And it's partly thanks to the passion of another innovative mind from the Musk family, not Elon. NBC News correspondent Elwin Lopez takes us inside the world of the Passionistas.
Passionflix has to be the 8th wonder of the world.
Like, sorry, is this just all of Book Talk's dreams come true? Don't get me wrong, I'm kind of obsessed.
That obsession sizzling on the island of enchantment, now seeing a new wave of romantics. They're known as Passionistas, and hundreds of them are flocking to the Caribbean for this year's spicy plot, PassionCon.
Let's just say you're happy to be in Puerto Rico.
Of course, wouldn't say no.
Swifties move over. These fans are coming in hot, shelling out big bucks to be here. Some even have tattoos inspired by their favorite book series.
A matching tattoo.
A matching tattoo, like Miss
on a romance novel. On a romance novel, yes.
The love buffs are taking over Puerto Rico for an all-inclusive weekend. It's a desire for deep connection.
Why travel so far for this conference?
It's very cliche, but like when they say it's a family, but it really is.
This mother and daughter even took me out for a scavenger hunt.
Have you ever played a game quite like this as mother and daughter? No.
The goal, to find the pieces of a Passionflix poster, revealing a new cast member.
Where you go to cool off and take a dip among water guns and cannonball flips.
I was a bit of a lost cause.
How many pools are there in this place?
But my new friends were in it to win it.
There it is.
The driving force behind all of this, Tosca Musk, the sister of SpaceX and Tesla CEO Elon Musk.
I grew up with my mom. We watched a lot of romance novels, and it was really fun. It was a fun bonding experience, and so now I get to make them, and it's fun.
The South African filmmaker is behind Passionflix, a romance streaming service that puts often hot and heavy pages onto the small screen, like their latest entry, Wallbanger.
Wallbanger? 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 Wallbanger.
There is some sort of misperception, if you will, about romance novels.
Well, romance novels are the #1 selling genre in the world, and I don't think that some people are happy about that.
By that you mean a lot of people.
You know, some people look down on romance novels because they think that they're not intellectual enough, and I think that's stupid. You know, it's unfortunate they're looked down upon so much. I do believe it's changing a lot, though, and I'm loving this revolution for the romance novel industry.
Over the past year and across the country, book sales dipped, but it's romance novels that are still cashing in. Annual print sales of the genre have more than doubled in the past 3 years. It's following skyrocketing.
It's amazing that you came here all the way from Slovakia and that you've made a lot of international friends.
It's a lot of fun to get to meet people from all over the place, because there are people from Australia, there are people from Latin America, there are people from the US, obviously.
It's a borderless bond that goes beyond fiction, uniting fans from across the world. And it doesn't hurt that here they've hired dozens of men to be our very own book boyfriends.
I need to talk about the book boyfriends.
Book boyfriends.
I haven't seen them yet. I have to find them on premises here.
Yeah, I think we have about 40 book boyfriends.
40?
Here. Yeah.
Do you need to spare one?
I mean, we have a few.
Can you?
You know, take your pick.
They welcome the woman, they take them to the elevator, they take their bags for them, they dance with them.
Yeah, real gentlemen.
Just real gentlemen.
And sure enough, we found them, or really they found us, straight off the pages and close to sunset, not too far from an idyllic scene.
It's worth the travel from Australia, just for the book boyfriends.
Elwin Lopez, NBC News, Puerto Rico.
That does it for this hour of Morning News Now. Stay with us. The news continues right now. Good morning and happy first day of April, also known as April Fool's Day. You've been warned. I'm Joe Fryer. Savannah is on assignment. Right now on Morning News Now, we're tracking yet another swath of severe weather sweeping the country. From Southern California to the Midwest, driving rains, dangerous flooding, even hail, battering millions of Americans on a busy Easter travel weekend. Thousands of flight delays hit weary travelers from coast to coast, and the wicked weather is not over yet. We've got your full forecast coming up. In Baltimore, a massive cleanup operation is underway. Hundreds of workers now racing to salvage the wreckage of the collapsed Key Bridge. They're also striving to reopen a vital American shipping hub. More on those efforts in just a moment. A royal update, King Charles and Queen Camilla stepping out for Easter celebrations at Windsor Castle yesterday in the wake of the King's cancer diagnosis. But Princess Kate is still mostly out of the public eye as she deals with her own cancer battle. We've got the latest. And the stage is set for the Final Four. Purdue, Alabama, UConn, and underdog NC State all at the front door of March Madness glory. We're also taking you to the court as Iowa phenom Caitlin Clark and her Hawkeyes prep for that highly anticipated rematch with LSU, sure to be one you can't miss, a rematch of last year's national championship. We're going to begin this morning with 25 million Americans under the threat of a severe weather system that is making its way across the country. It's bringing heavy rains, flooding, even some April snow to parts of the U.S. NBC News correspondent Jesse Kirsch is in Cincinnati and joins us with the latest. Jesse, good morning.
Joe, good morning. We're watching for the possibility of flooding in this region starting this afternoon after a holiday weekend that was filled with brutal weather.
This year, April showers came early for millions of Americans, with torrential rains, gusty winds, and large hail battering parts of the country. In the Midwest, where the storm is headed next, hail the size of golf balls hitting cars.
Oh my God, this is so bad.
The system bringing torrential downpours to California before working its way east. In Santa Barbara County, some drivers left stranded after severe flooding shut down this stretch of highway. Twyla Douglas was driving from L.A. when traffic suddenly came to a complete standstill.
We heard this raging water sound, and we're like, oh, this is not good at all.
Meanwhile, parts of the scenic Highway 1 near Big Sur breaking off into the ocean, stranding hundreds of people and sending 2 to the hospital, according to officials. While in the sky near San Jose, lightning near an airplane. And further north in Truckee, tragedy striking during a storm that brought 14 inches of snow this weekend. According to airport officials, 2 people were killed in a deadly plane crash while attempting to land at the airport. No cause has been determined.
I could hear this just big thud. I knew it went down.
The victims identified as entrepreneurs Liron and Naomi Petrushka. The company where Liron worked saying we are all heartbroken by this loss.
Back here in Cincinnati, 2 to 4 inches of rain is possible in this region by tomorrow evening. So for anyone who's been taking their time getting home more slowly from Easter holiday celebrations over the weekend, definitely going to want to keep an eye on road conditions. Joe.
All right, Jesse Kirsch, thank you so much. Not only do we have severe weather in store for some today, like where Jesse is, also the possibility of snow in parts of the Northeast. Let's get a closer look at your Morning News Now weather with meteorologist Violetta Yaz. Good morning.
Good morning, Joe. Yeah, a very busy start to the month of April. We'll start with that severe weather threat really centered across parts of Texas all the way up into parts of Illinois, up through St. Louis as well, with the potential not only for damaging winds, that's going to be likely, but also seeing the threat for large hail and a few strong tornadoes, with the strongest tornadoes possible in this corridor right here from parts of Oklahoma all the way up into St. Louis. But this entire red shaded area from northern Texas right up into the Ohio Valley is at risk for those tornadoes. And again, some of those may be occurring after the sun sets, which they get particularly dangerous as folks are sleeping. Shifting into Tuesday, we'll see the potential for severe weather into parts of the lower Mississippi Valley, right up through Lexington, Kentucky. This is where those damaging thunderstorms are going to be likely. But on top of the threat for those damaging thunderstorms, we're also seeing the potential for flooding. These storms are also going to be capable of producing a lot of rain in a short amount of time. So we already have a flood watch in effect here from parts of southeastern Indiana through southern Ohio, right into parts of southwestern Pennsylvania. Nearly 8 million people impacted with that potential. And here's a look at some of those rainfall totals that will be possible as we head in through Wednesday. Again, we'll see rounds and rounds of thunderstorms and the potential for heavy rain. So from parts of Missouri extending all the way out into Pennsylvania and eventually making it into the Northeast as well. You can see anywhere from 2 to 3 inches where we have this darker shaded orange color. So a very unsettled pattern setting up here from the central U.S., eventually making it into the Northeast as well, with those heavier downpours expected potentially along some of that I-95 corridor as well. So let's time this out. That storm pushes out into the Midwest for today with intense thunderstorms setting up. You can see them blossoming right here from right around Dallas all the way up into Oklahoma. Then as we head into tomorrow, you can see that threat start to shift and those thunderstorms along that front start to develop here across parts of Tennessee into the Ohio River Valley as well. So again, on top of the damaging winds and the potential for tornadoes, we're going to have to watch out for flooding as well. Then by Wednesday, this is where it gets really interesting. We see sort of another storm develop offshore. That colder air starts to wrap in behind this. So notice this area of snow that starts to develop here across the interior Northeast. And we're not just talking about a little bit of snow. We're talking about some heavy amounts possible across New York State and parts of New England in particular. You can see some of those heavier amounts there right around Burlington into parts of Maine. We're talking perhaps more than a foot of snow. So again, pretty unique pattern setting up as we head into April. So severe thunderstorms for today. You can see the focus there right around the Ohio Valley into parts of the Northeast. Colder air on the backside of that. So again, a really interesting pattern here. We're really settling into severe weather season. So we've got damaging storms possible. We've got some heat across parts of the South Central and Southeast. And we sort of bookend it on Wednesday into Thursday with some snow on the backside of this. So a very, very active start to the month of April, Joe.
This is not a meteorological term, but I'm labeling this week blah.
Let's go with it.
Blah? All right,
yes,
sounds good.
Like
all right, Violetta, thanks so much. Now to the very latest on the bridge collapse in Baltimore. This morning, officials are working on a temporary channel so shipping vessels can once again start flowing into the critical port as the massive salvage operation gets underway. NBC News correspondent Aaron Gilchrist has the latest from Baltimore.
For the first time over the weekend, crews started moving away pieces of the wreckage here. It is a delicate and difficult operation to try to reopen this vital port. This bridge is being moved away piece by piece, which frankly could take months. And we're learning today that there's an effort now to open a waterway for ships.
This morning, a new phase in the round-the-clock effort at the Key Bridge in Baltimore. New lighted navigation aids now on the Patapsco River, creating a sort of runway on the water for a temporary channel for essential ships only. Officials calling it an important first step in reopening the Port of Baltimore. Many of Baltimore's 8,000 dock workers are waiting for that temporary shipping channel to open, which officials say could allow some commercial activity to resume. The Coast Guard sharing video of crews using cutting torches to burn through steel all weekend, while heavy lift cranes moved the pieces to waiting barges. It's an all-out effort to reopen this vital waterway.
We've been able to cut up some of the pieces, and the removal process is now going to be an ongoing process.
And more reinforcements are on the way. A fourth crane expected to arrive today, along with support tugs and barges throughout the week. All told, an armada of nearly 40 vessels and almost 400 people will work to clear the bridge, the cargo ship, and the debris on the riverbed. The goal, to clear the way for commerce to start flowing again through the Port of Baltimore.
Baltimore is specialized, it's large, it's an important part of the system.
With the port gates closed, very little is moving at marine terminals. Carnival cruise ship passengers sailing out of Baltimore bussed back on Sunday from a port in Norfolk, Virginia. Progress on the river's surface clouded by dangerous conditions below, preventing divers from searching for 4 still missing workers killed in Tuesday's collapse.
We owe it to these families to bring a sense of closure. And so as soon as it is safe for our divers to get back into the water, those divers are going back in the water.
Now, the weather here in Baltimore is expected to be pretty nasty throughout the day. We don't yet know how that might impact operations on the water here. At the same time, we're learning the Biden administration is opening a resource center for business owners in this area to start applying for loans to keep their businesses open and running until this collapsed bridge can be removed. Back to you.
All right, Aaron Gilchrist, thank you. Back in Washington, President Biden is kicking his campaign into high gear following a record-breaking fundraising event in New York City. Former President Donald Trump is also stepping up. He's preparing for his own campaign event at his Mar-a-Lago estate. But his ongoing court battles could slow down his fundraising abilities. NBC News Channel Washington correspondent Bree Jackson has all the details.
We saw 2 vastly different messages from the presidential candidates on Sunday. President Biden sending goodwill to all those celebrating Easter, while former President Trump attacked his enemies online. Former President Trump spending Easter Sunday online railing against the court cases against him, calling prosecutors and judges crooked and corrupt. While Trump's rhetoric may offend some backers, other donors are doubling down.
They're afraid of Donald Trump. And they're afraid that if Donald Trump's SEC decides that if they didn't sufficiently support him, that they'll come down on their various, investment banking firms, hedge funds, etc.
The presumptive GOP nominee is promoting an array of products ranging from sneakers to Bibles in an effort to fundraise. He's also preparing for an April 15th trial date in his New York hush money case. Meanwhile, House Republicans say their impeachment inquiry into President Biden is nearing an end.
Right now, the lawyers in the committee that I talked to say there's not a specific crime, and you need that for a high crime or misdemeanor. Now, I think the investigation it merited an investigation, put the facts out, let the public look at it.
The Biden campaign is ramping up public appearances and extending its fundraising lead, posting a record-setting $26 million raised during a star-studded event featuring Presidents Clinton and Obama.
It's not just the negative case against the presumptive nominee on the other side. It's the positive case for somebody who's done an outstanding job in the presidency.
So what we saw in New York last Thursday was a show of unity and a show of defense of democracy.
President Biden still faces challenges. Outside his event last week, crowds protested his policy on the Israel-Hamas war. President Biden plans to visit Baltimore this week and has pledged full federal support in helping that area recover from the bridge collapse. In Washington, Bree Jackson, back to you.
Thank you, Bree. We have new developments this morning in the Israel-Hamas war. An Israeli official tells NBC News that the U.S. and Israeli governments will hold a virtual meeting today to discuss alternatives to a large-scale ground assault on Rafah. It comes following weeks of growing tensions between President Biden and Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. As the two countries prepare those discussions, officials in Gaza are racing to send aid to Al-Shifa hospital. A devastating scene is unfolding there after Israeli Israeli troops withdrew from the hospital following a 2-week operation. The UN says at least 21 patients have died since the attack began. NBC News international correspondent Raf Sanchez joins us now from Tel Aviv with the latest. Raf, good morning. First of all, what more can you tell us about this virtual meeting?
Joe, good morning. You'll remember this meeting was supposed to happen last week in person in Washington, but Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu very publicly canceling it in a show of anger with the United States. That was in protest at the American decision to let that UN Security Council resolution go through, which called for an immediate ceasefire, something the Israelis say will not happen until Hamas is defeated and until the hostages are freed. So the fact that this meeting has now been rescheduled, possible sign Netanyahu trying to lower the temperature after what has been a lot of friction in the U.S.-Israel relationship. We were expecting two of Netanyahu's closest confidants to be on the Israeli side. That's a member of the War Cabinet and his national security advisor. And on the American side, Jake Sullivan, President Biden's national security advisor, expected to take the lead. And the topic of conversation, this major disagreement between the U.S. and Israel over Israeli plans to attack the city of Rafah. We've talked about this a lot. Netanyahu says the only way to defeat Hamas is to go into Rafah on the ground in a big way. The Biden administration says that will be a disaster, given that there are more than 1 million Palestinian civilians sheltering in Rafah, and that it is the key entrance point for aid to the rest of the Gaza Strip. Jeff.
So, Raf, Israeli officials have also resumed hostage negotiations in Egypt, and we're seeing these protests in Israel. They're intensifying against Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to try and end this war. Do we know if any progress was made in those discussions?
So an Israeli official tells me this morning there does seem to be some signs of progress in Cairo. They say there is still a long way to go. Two big outstanding issues between Israel and Hamas at this point: the exact ratio of Palestinian prisoners that Israel will be expected to release in exchange for those Israeli hostages. And the other big question is how many of those displaced Palestinian civilians currently in the south of the Strip will be allowed to return to their homes in the north as part of a deal. Now, we've talked a lot, Joe, about how Qatar has been the main mediator throughout these nearly 6 months of war. But when you talk to the Israelis, they say do not underestimate the role that Egypt plays. Because Egypt geographically neighbors the Gaza Strip, because the Egyptians play a big role at the Rafah crossing, Israel says the Egyptians actually have a whole lot of leverage over Hamas, and they are more optimistic that Egypt will use it than the Qataris. Jeff.
Well, we have you, Raf. Israeli officials do confirm that their military forces have left the Al-Shifa hospital after the 2-week operation there. Officials in Gaza say the aftermath is devastating. IDF says it was trying to root out Hamas leaders. What all are we learning about this 2-week raid?
Yeah, Joe, the images coming out of Al-Shifa Hospital this morning are really pretty stunning. There is widespread devastation. There are whole hallways, whole wards that are burned out, riddled with bullets. The World Health Organization says this hospital, once the largest in the Gaza Strip, a place that I actually visited many times before the war, Joe, is a modern, large, functioning hospital, is basically completely offline at this point. And our team has been there this morning, and they are saying there is bodies all over the compounds, both inside the hospital and in the streets nearby. As you said, Israel says this was a precise and successful operation, that they killed more than 100 militants, that they captured senior Hamas operatives. But the World Health Organization is saying this is another major, major blow to Gaza's already collapsed healthcare system. Jeff.
All right. Raf Sanchez. Raf, thank you so much. Much more here to come on this hour of Morning News Now, including a Kansas City Chiefs star's reported connection to a high-speed car crash in Dallas over the weekend. First, after the break, show of strength, the messages of support now pouring in for King Charles and Princess Kate. A royal Easter celebration that has many optimistic about the King's future. Those stories and much more next. We're back now with a look at the royal family. King Charles and Queen Camilla observed the Easter holiday by attending services at St. George's Chapel at Windsor Castle, marking the king's first major appearance since he was diagnosed with cancer. But this year, the traditional family outing was anything but business as usual, with Prince William and Princess Kate not making an appearance following her cancer diagnosis. NBC News international correspondent Kelly Kobiea joins us now from Buckingham Palace with the latest. Kelly, good morning.
Joe, good morning to you. The palace said the road ahead is looking positive for King Charles, now roughly 2 months into his cancer treatment, well enough to attend Easter services and even spend about 5 minutes mingling with the fans.
Happy Easter, Mercy. Keep going strong.
Messages of support for King Charles and Princess Kate from holiday crowds in Windsor.
Best wishes to Princess of Wales.
A smiling King Charles surprised well-wishers, shaking hands after Sunday's Easter church service. It's the 75-year-old monarch's first major public appearance since the palace announced he was being treated for cancer in February. Headlines declaring it a show of strength and a sign he's getting better.
Buckingham Palace have said that it's a really positive sign that we saw the King on Easter Sunday. It's very encouraging that we saw him mixing with the crowds. However, we haven't heard the same from Kensington Palace about the Princess of Wales. We shouldn't read too much into that. She said herself in her own public statement that she needs to concentrate on her rest and recovery with her ongoing cancer treatment.
The traditional Easter walk to church scaled back this year. The King and Queen and the King's siblings and their partners smiling for the crowds, including Prince Andrew's ex-wife Sarah Ferguson, diagnosed with skin cancer earlier this year. Last year, Prince William and Kate's youngest son made his first appearance at Easter services. But this year, the young family stayed away, spending the weekend together privately after Kate's cancer announcement.
This, of course, came as a huge shock. And William and I have been doing everything we can to process and manage this privately for the sake of our young family.
Her last public appearance was Christmas of last year. The Princess of Wales said the past couple of months have been incredibly tough for her entire family.
We hope that you'll understand that as a family, we now need some time, space and privacy while I complete my treatment.
Princess Kate now spending time privately with her kids as they're on school break for the next couple of weeks. As for the King, the palace said that yesterday's event was a very encouraging sign of how his treatment is progressing as we move toward the summer. And Joe, the big event coming up in just a couple of months is the Trooping the Color, the King's birthday parade. That's on June 15th. Question is, will he be well enough then to attend? Joe?
All right, Kelly, thank you so much. Back here in the U.S., police in Dallas are reportedly looking for Kansas City Chiefs wide receiver Rashee Rice after a high-speed crash involving multiple vehicles over the weekend. NBC News correspondent Priscilla Thompson is in Dallas with more on this. Priscilla, what are we learning?
Yeah, Joe, well, we know that crash occurred Saturday right along this stretch of the expressway. Police say that in all 6 vehicles were involved and that 2 people were taken to the hospital with minor injuries. Officials are also saying that the occupants of the cars believed to be at fault left the scene, with the Dallas Morning News reporting that one of those vehicles may have belonged to Rashee Rice. This morning, Dallas police are working to identify the suspects responsible for this high-speed crash. Authorities reportedly looking to speak with Kansas City Chiefs wide receiver Rashee Rice. Law enforcement officials telling the Dallas Morning News one of the cars involved is believed to be registered or leased to the NFL star.
The major accident on the freeway at 6700 block of North Central Expressway northbound.
The dangerous crash happened Saturday evening, police say, and was caused by 2 drivers speeding, one in a Corvette, the other in a Lamborghini. Dash cam video obtained by NBC News appears to show the moment police say the drivers lost control, one car slamming into the center median as the other appears to spin out. Police say occupants of the Lamborghini and the Corvette all ran from the scene without stopping to determine if anyone needed medical help or providing their information. The Dallas Morning News reporting that Kayla Quinn says she was in another car with her 4-year-old son and was hit during the crash. Quinn's mother sharing a video seemingly recorded by a bystander of the scene.
You guys all right? Yeah, that's it. Where are you guys heading? You guys all right? Yeah. We gotta get up there, bro. You guys just gonna leave it?
New photos obtained by TMZ Sports also seems to show the occupants of the cars leaving the scene. Rice's alleged involvement in the wreck, if any, is unclear, and police have not yet identified any of the suspects involved. The star wide receiver grew up in the Dallas area and was drafted last year by the Kansas City Chiefs. The rising star now under bright lights off the field as an investigation into who caused that crash continues. And NBC News has reached out to the Kansas City Chiefs and the NFL, but we have not heard back. Joe?
All right, Priscilla, thank you so much. For cancer survivors, ringing the bell is a significant symbolic milestone, the final victory in a difficult battle. But for one woman in Wilmington, North Carolina, beating cancer wasn't the only occasion we're celebrating that day. Ava Brengord from our affiliate in Wilmington shows us why her story is going viral.
It was a phone call Angelica May never thought was coming.
And she was like, do you want to come in or do you want me to tell you over the phone?
A doctor from Novant Health calling to give her the news.
And so I said, you can just tell me over the phone because at the time I'm like, it's no way, it's cancer.
After finding a lump in her breast in July, May was diagnosed with an aggressive type of stage 2 breast cancer 2 months later.
I still wasn't processing the fact that I have breast cancer. Like, my life is literally about to change.
She called her longtime boyfriend, Imeke Watkins, to tell him the news.
The whole car ride home, I was just like, at the end of the day, we're gonna get through the process.
It was that week May started an intense chemotherapy treatment with Watkins by her side. She can't help but break down when she describes it.
Chemo is hard. And you're sick all the time, you're tired, you can't do what you used to do, so it's just...
It's tough.
It's a lot. And I cry every time I talk about it because nobody understands what it does to your body.
But she had Watkins every step of the way, and after 16 intense rounds of chemo, May finally rang the bell, marking her victory over breast cancer. From bell ringing to ring wearing, Watkins had another surprise in store. You know you're gonna ring the bell. Did you even think that another surprise was waiting for you after?
No. Oh, no. My mind was strictly on ringing that bell and getting up out of that hospital. I had no clue he was going to propose.
The proposal, now viewed more than 1 million times on TikTok. May says she hopes those who watch the video are inspired to overcome their own battles, just as she has overcame hers.
I'm thankful for going through it because now he's just blessing us every day, like every day. So I'm really grateful.
And ready for the next chapter of life with her love by her side.
Congrats to them. Our thanks to Ava Brengord from our affiliate in Wilmington, North Carolina for that report. May does have a double mastectomy plan to ensure the possibility of cancer returning is very low. But after that, she has a wedding to plan. We are sending our best wishes to the happy couple. Coming up, not yoking around. After the break, why some conservatives are up in arms over a long-standing White House Easter tradition. We'll take you to Washington next. Welcome back. Today's Easter egg roll is a long-standing tradition at the White House, but this year the cherished event is receiving some backlash from conservative groups over guidelines for the decorated egg submissions. NBC News White House correspondent Rafah joins us now for more on this holiday dispute. So, walk us through what was on this flyer that's sparking the controversy.
Yeah, Joe, good morning. The Easter egg roll has been a White House tradition for 146 years now, and it's usually been free of any political drama or controversy. But as you mentioned, this year was different, and the backlash has been sparked from conservative news outlets over the last few days who are slamming this flyer released by the National Guard, inviting children of members of the Guard to submit Easter egg designs for the White House Easter egg roll set to take place in just a few hours. And this flyer says designs, first, for one thing, can't promote illegal drugs. They can't promote the use of firearms. But the conservative outlets are really pointing to this detail, saying the design, quote, must not include any questionable content, religious symbols, or overtly religious themes. Those outlets accusing the administration in writing this of outright banning religious themes in this year's contest. And it's sparking a strong defense by the Biden administration, as well as the American Egg Board, which is saying that this has been a federal guideline for decades now. The board actually created by Congress, and they're saying that it was all meant to not have this controversy take place, to be as fair and nonpartisan and non-discriminatory as possible, Joe.
All right, so not an April Fool's Day joke. All right, this wasn't the only issue on Easter of this year. The Biden administration also received some backlash for naming March 31st yesterday as the National Transgender Day of Visibility. This is something we talked about on our show last week. What more can you tell us about this?
Yeah, this was the second controversy that really developed a life of its own over the weekend. And it started after the White House on Friday released a statement saying President Biden was declaring Sunday, Easter Sunday, a transgender day of visibility. And it just so happened that this year, Easter Sunday fell on March 31st. But the White House is saying that Transgender Day of Visibility has actually been on March 31st since 2010. This is nothing new. But this year, as we saw this weekend, as we saw, conservative outlets also pounced on this as well. Top Republicans are slamming the Biden administration. Speaker Johnson, for example, posted on X that the Biden administration, quote, betrayed the central tenet of Easter, which is the resurrection of Jesus Christ. The White House firing back. We saw a statement from Deputy Press Secretary Andrew Bates on X saying it was, quote, unsurprising that some are seeking to divide and weaken our country with cruel, hateful, and dishonest rhetoric, adding and noting that President Biden is a Christian. And he says, quote, he would never abuse his faith for political purposes or profit, Joe.
Of course, and as you point out, Transgender Day of Visibility, long been on March 31st. Easter, of course, the date changes every year. Rafah, thanks for your reporting this morning. Appreciate it. We're now just 1 week away from that total solar eclipse that will plunge much of the country into darkness. This morning, communities across the U.S. on the path of totality are finalizing their preparations for the arrival of millions of space and sky enthusiasts who are ready to marvel at this rare event. NBC News correspondent Morgan Chesky is here with more on what to expect. Morgan, good morning.
Hey, Joe, good morning. Yeah, this feels kind of like the event where years from now, people are going to be asking each other, hey, where were you on April 8th? Hard to believe we're just 1 week away from the big eclipse moment. And for towns and businesses in that coveted path of totality, the rush to get ready is officially on. This morning, with just 1 week to go, eclipse excitement is shining bright.
How could you miss that? It's going to be like a cosmic event.
Next Monday, the sun and moon will be perfectly aligned, creating a rare total solar eclipse. The best views are expected in cities like Dallas, Indianapolis, Cleveland, and Buffalo. In all, about 31 million people live in the path of totality, with millions more expected to travel to see up to 4 minutes of daytime darkness.
Scientists are saying this should be the biggest eclipse crowd for totality ever in North America.
Niagara Falls joining a growing list of cities that have already declared a state of emergency to allow for more resources ahead of the astronomical event.
We're preparing for up to 1 million people visiting our city at the same time, which would be a record crowd.
Officials aren't burning any daylight preparing. Residents in parts of Texas, Arkansas, and New York State being warned of potential shortages on food and fuel as the solar surge is expected to take over rural towns with prime views of the eclipse. Kerrville, Texas, expecting tens of thousands of eclipse tourists. And Mayor Judy Eichner says they're ready. How does it feel to plan years for an event that's just maybe 5 minutes?
Well, it's kind of like an overgrown wedding in some ways.
With $1 billion expected to be spent in cities along the path of totality, local businesses know this is their time to shine. Many already selling souvenirs and specialty brews. Even big brands are getting in on the eclipse craze. From Sonic's Blackout Slush Float to Sun Chips launching a special solar eclipse bag, only available for the short duration of the event itself. All to ensure business won't be eclipsed by the dark side of the moon.
Awesome. Wow.
And if people are suddenly inspired to travel and witness the eclipse themselves, they're going to have a tough time finding a place to stay. Joe, we know that hotels have been sold out for months in the path of totality. If you can find a room, travel experts say don't be surprised if the rate is upwards of 200% more than the typical price. So if you have to catch the next one, well, you better be patient. That's not expected over the U.S. until 2044. Joe?
So you might need to fork out the money now. I love how that mayor says it's like an overgrown wedding, like the sun marrying the moon, and everyone's invited.
There you go.
All right. Morgan Chesky, thank you so much. Coming up, fast food workers in California are getting a big pay bump today. Not everyone is happy about it. How local businesses and workers alike are reacting to a $20 minimum wage. Next on Morning News Now. We're back now with a closer look at the growing crisis in the housing market. Evictions are on the rise across the country as pandemic-era aid programs come to an end. NBC News correspondent Marissa Parra has that story.
I do love this old town.
For 75-year-old Catherine Weaver, the small town of Aberdeen, Washington, just 2 hours west of Seattle, has always felt like home sweet home.
And my kids took karate lessons over in the next block.
That is, until she was forcibly removed from hers.
They started hauling our stuff out and stacking it in the street. And people would come by and dig through it and take what they wanted.
Catherine says she and her daughter Liliana moved into an apartment a few years ago and quickly started having problems with the landlord.
We had been there almost no time at all when they jumped the rent up some more. The cupboards and the drawers in the kitchen were off the rails.
Despite always paying her rent on time, in February they received an eviction notice, citing demolition of the building as the reason she had to leave.
If they were going to tear it down, why would they have been renting it the same day we got the eviction papers?
There's a lot of pressure on some of these houses for landlords to evict people so they can raise the prices or sell them or turn them into condos.
Catherine's case reflects a rising trend in the U.S. With pandemic-era eviction moratoriums and federal assistance programs now gone, some cities' eviction filings are dramatically higher than pre-pandemic levels, in some cases over 50% higher.
Housing costs are increasing, but wages are not increasing at a rate fast enough to meet those prices.
And it's not just tenants. Landlords are also feeling the pinch. Rising housing costs combined with tenants who can't pay their rent is forcing them to take drastic steps like eviction. According to national data, there were more than 1 million evictions over the past year, some 82,000 in the last month alone.
I leave eviction as a last resort.
Brooklyn area property manager John Sevdos has had to start the eviction process on 2 tenants in the past year.
When someone doesn't pay rent, how does that impact you?
I have to take money from another property to put it into this one. It's emotionally stressful because I know that I still have to meet my obligations, still do repairs, still pay the mortgage, still pay my personal bills.
But for both landlords and tenants, evictions are taking a human toll.
It's just such a hurtful experience that I don't want to go through it again.
Valerie Castro, NBC News.
Financial headlines now. A massive auto recall just announced affecting hundreds of thousands of Kia SUVs. CNBC's Silvana Henao has that and other money news. Silvana, good morning.
Hey, Joe, good morning to you. Yes, so Kia is recalling more than 427,000 Telluride SUVs because they may roll away while parked. Now, the intermediate and right front drive shafts of certain 2020 to 2024 models may not be fully engaged, raising the potential for a crash. No injuries or accidents have been reported. Kia will start notifying people next month, and dealers will replace any damaged parts and update the software for free. Until then, drivers are instructed to manually engage the emergency parking brake. A six-figure salary is needed to buy a home in nearly half of the country. A new study from Bankrate finds home buyers must earn nearly $111,000 a year to afford a median-priced home, which is roughly $402,000. Just 4 years ago, only 6 states and the District of Columbia required a six-figure salary. Since the start of 2020, the annual income needed to afford a typical home has risen nearly 50%. And no joke here, Krispy Kreme has an April Fool's deal. Buy a dozen donuts and you can get a dozen original glazed for $4.01. Krispy Kreme's donuts are also coming to participate in McDonald's starting later this year and should be nationwide by the end of 2026. Original glazed, chocolate ice with sprinkles, and chocolate ice cream filled donuts will be delivered daily and be available all day and individually or in boxes of 6, Joe.
Got it. All right. Silvana, thank you so much. And happy April Fool's Day. All right. Other business news now. Fast food workers in California are set to get a big bump in pay today. The minimum wage is jumping from $16 to $20 an hour for those workers. But not everyone is happy about it. NBC News correspondent David Noriega takes a look at the economics of California's wage hike.
Starting Monday, a pay boost for more than 500,000 Californians. Good news for Lizette Aguilar, who after 17 years working for McDonald's still has trouble making ends meet. We ask her how she feels. ¿Cómo te sientes?
Feliz. Ansiosa de que
Eager, she says, for that first bigger paycheck. It'll help with bills, and maybe she'll get something special for her 9-year-old son, Marcos. California's new law sets a $20 an hour minimum wage for fast food workers, up from the current $16. Most workers affected are women of color.
This is a big deal. $20 an hour.
One of the biggest questions is how will this affect consumers, especially in a state where everything's already very expensive and a lot of people have a hard time affording basics like housing and food. McDonald's, Starbucks, Chipotle, and other major chains have said publicly they intend to raise prices. But by how much? Some economists anticipate about 5%, others as little as 2%.
So for a $5 Mac, that would be a dime, 10 cents. People notice it, but I don't think they'll change their behavior.
Critics say the wage increase will accelerate trends that hurt workers, like replacing cashiers with electronic kiosks. Some pizza franchise owners have already announced layoffs of in-house drivers, switching to third-party delivery apps instead. And there's no question the rise in labor costs will put pressure on franchise owners, like Carrie Harper Howie, whose family owns 21 McDonald's in the Los Angeles area.
We will, of course, as everyone else is, have to increase prices in some way, shape, or form. And what people don't understand is they say, oh, what does it matter? McDonald's and Taco Bell, they're just big corporations. We are family businesses.
Some fast food customers say even if they do pay more, it's a price worth paying.
I'm okay with it, because it feels like everything else is going up, and it's about time wages go up.
David Noriega, NBC News, Los Angeles.
Coming up, a March Madness rematch for the ages in April. After the break, Iowa phenom Caitlin Clark and her Hawkeyes set to once again take on LSU, this time for Final Four glory. So will we see even more fire on the court between Clark and LSU's Angel Reese? Got a preview of tonight's matchup next. Welcome back. As we mentioned, it is April Fool's Day. It's also Gmail's 20th birthday. But did you know when it first launched, well, people thought it was a joke? Google co-founders Larry Page and Sergey Brin loved to pull pranks. So when they launched Gmail with up to 1 gigabyte of storage, on April Fool's Day 20 years ago, people thought Google was pulling their leg. For the younger folks that might be watching, email accounts used to hit capacity at about 30 to 60 emails. So when the Associated Press published an article announcing the launch, several people actually called the news agency to tell them that they had been duped. That being said, happy birthday, Gmail. And in true email fashion, we hope your anniversary finds you well. Let's bring in NBC Sports play-by-play and reporter Zora Stevenson, a good friend of the show, to talk more about Iowa and LSU, this huge rematch. It really is a battle of the greats. Iowa's the top-scoring women's basketball team in the country. LSU is number 2. They're meeting a little earlier than last year's national championship. Can you predict a winner in this one?
Well, Joe, first off, thanks for having me again. They're meeting a lot earlier than any of us want them to, because you would love the opportunity to see both of these teams in the Final Four. I think both of the teams deserve to be in the Final Four, but here we are. Am I going to pick a winner? Come on now. You're not going to put me in that boat. I really think, okay, LSU, right? They've got the big bodies down low. They've got the passion. They've got the strength. They're the top rebounding team in the country when it comes to major colleges, definitely in the Power Five. So it's LSU's rebounding, right, and ability to get to the rim versus Iowa and Caitlin Clark and everything that she does, but also the team's ability to put up big numbers because of the way they shoot from the outside. So what's going to give Iowa has played zone for a lot of the tournament, a lot of different teams that they've played in the Big Ten Conference as well. They've gone zone. I could see them doing that a little bit, but then sometimes it's hard to rebound out of a zone. So I know I'm getting into the nitty gritty. Both teams have a shot to win, and I think that's what's so exciting. You know, we're going to see a lot of passion, a lot of fire, a lot of flair. And let's remember, this is what the game is all about. Angel Reese said it perfectly. When I'm between those two lines, there are no friends. So let's not take anything out of context. Let's have fun with the competition, have fun with the game. And then when it's over, remember that all of these women respect each other. And at the end of the day, they're all trying to grow the game.
Yeah, Sam points out it's not that they hate each other, but still this Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese rivalry, it's drawing comparisons to Larry Bird and Magic Johnson. They faced off in the most watched NCAA championship game ever decades ago, a rivalry that continued into the pros. So coming into this game, just how have these two amazingly talented women each changed women's college basketball?
Yeah, I think the word rivalry is the proper word to use in this context. And it's crazy that you're bringing up two greats like Larry Bird and Magic Johnson. That's where the women's game is right now. And I think it's so amazing that it is at this point. Both of these women have committed themselves to growing the game. And I love that they go about it in two different ways because they're two different human beings and there's no wrong way to go about it. I mean, Angel Reese even came out and said, okay, if you want to paint me as the villain, fine. But we are all doing the same thing when it comes to women's basketball. And if this is the way it has to be, that's okay. And she's had so much on her shoulders, as well as Caitlin Clark. And, you know, you have to think like 21, 22 years old, and to be able to have the responsibility of growing an entire sport. I have so much kudos for not just Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, but all of the women on these teams because this March Madness has been phenomenal. I am in Raleigh, North Carolina right now. We're Wolfpack fans. I know a lot of people are talking about the men, but the women as well. Both of the teams going to the Final Four. This entire city is going nuts right now.
Yeah, I'm sure they have so much to celebrate. Okay, we do have to talk about the men. Final Four now set. I have to admit, I saw UConn in person last week when they eviscerated my Northwestern Wildcats. They look tough. Who are your picks on the men's side?
Yeah, I'm going to be a little biased right now. You love the Cinderella run of the NC State Wolfpack on the men's side right now, right? You got the club with the two DJs, specifically DJ Burns, and what he was able to do yesterday against Duke was phenomenal. UConn is rolling, right? The fact that you can go on a 28-0 run, they've got the talent. They're trying to go for back-to-back championships. So we'll see. It's like, okay, do I go with my brain here and what I think is going to happen? Or do I go with my heart and the Cinderella run that we all love? That's what I'm stuck in between right now.
That's the beauty of the NCAA. The brain and the heart often both win equal amounts. So we will see what happens with the Final Four. We'll see what happens with the big LSU-Iowa matchup as well. Zora, always a pleasure having you on. Thank you so much for joining us. That's going to do it for this hour of Morning News Now, but stay with us. The news continues right now.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.